Since fitness trackers exploded onto the scene in 2009 with Fitbit and then mainstream in 2010, there's been this obsession with tracking calories in your workouts. And I think this is one of the worst features on a fitness tracker that can actually make it harder for people to lose weight and can contribute to an eating disorder. So in this video, I'm going to tell you why you should ignore the calories on your fitness tracker, what you should be actually using it for, and if you are struggling to lose weight, I will give you some tips and things that they're common reasons why that will be. Let's get straight into it and why we shouldn't use fitness trackers to track calories. There was a study done by Stanford University where they tracked 7 different fitness trackers and they tracked them for heart rate, steps, and calories. We'll cover the other 2 in a little bit, but first we're going to talk about calories. And what they found is that the fitness trackers were out by either 30% or all the way up to 90% incorrect. That's quite a big variable. And if we're looking at a calorie deficit, and your deficit's around 300 to 500 per day, you could quite easily have tracked an extra 500 calories when you haven't actually burnt that. But understanding calories burned in a workout goes far beyond this because it can have a knock-on effect. Let's look at your total daily energy expenditure. This will help you understand where your calories are actually burnt throughout the day. So the majority of our calories are burnt through our basal metabolic rate, which is our BMR. This is anywhere between 60 and 70% of our overall calories. And this is basically our basal metabolic rate is just being alive. If you just lie in bed all day, this is how many calories you'd be burning. So a substantial amount of calories come from just being a human being living. Then we have something called our NEAT, which is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And this is things like fidgeting, walking to work, taking the laundry upstairs, chasing the children, those sort of things. And this can be up to 20%, in some cases a little bit more. So this is where we have the biggest impact of our overall calories throughout the week. So we should be getting out and doing things like making sure that we're getting our steps in and just generally moving more. And it doesn't mean going for a purposeful walk. It could just mean, well, how can I get a few more steps in today? Oh, I know, I'll park further away when I go to the supermarket. I'll take the laundry up in 2 trips instead of 1. We don't need to overcomplicate it, let's just keep it simple. But general movement is very, very valuable, not just from a fat loss point of view, but just for general well-being. In a recent study, they saw the benefits of moving from 4,000 steps a day to 8,000 steps a day was a decrease in all-cause mortality by 51%. Movement is so important. Then you have your TEF, which is your thermic effect of food. So this is the calorie burn just digesting food. And this is around 10%. And then the last one is EAT, which is our exercise activity thermogenesis. And this is purposeful exercise. And as you can see, it's only 5% on average, which isn't a great deal overall. So when people say that they're very active when they fill in a calorie tracker, they might be active in the gym, but then for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, they don't really move that much. Which is why my calorie calculator is based on your overall steps and movement throughout the day rather than number of workouts. There's a link in the description below if you want to use it. But something that's not talked about massively is something called adaptive thermogenesis. And this is if you push yourself really hard in the gym in a high intensity workout, what you might not realize is that you're doing less throughout the day. You might be leaning up against things a little bit more, you might be walking a little bit slower, and actually even your organs can become more efficient to conserve energy. We need to remember that our bodies are very smart, and what they try to do is conserve energy where they can. So if there's a big output of energy, it's going to try and pull and save some of that throughout the rest of the day. Now, not everybody is the same. Some people this will not affect, and some people it will. There's no way to know, but it's pretty safe to say that a little watch on your wrist moving around with your movement isn't going to know. Now let's just be very, very clear about one thing. Exercise is extremely important for your health. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself so that you're still moving around and being active when you're way into your retirement age. And if you're not exercising or doing some form of resistance-based training, then frailty is a real problem that will hit many of us a lot earlier than our parents' generation and their parents' generation. But what we shouldn't be doing is we shouldn't be using exercise as a way to burn calories. We shouldn't be seeing exercise as a way to lose body fat. We should be seeing it as a way to improve our quality of life. There are some good uses to smartwatches. One is to track steps. Now the 10,000 steps isn't a magic number. Any increase in your daily movement, whether it's going from 4,000 to 6,000 steps, is going to have an amazing benefit to your overall health. So using a fitness tracker to see that you're increasing your daily movement, perfect. They also found in the Stanford University study that actually the heart rate monitor side of it is pretty good. So using the heart rate monitor to gauge your level of intensity in a workout is a great tool. So if you're struggling to lose body fat, It's more often than not that people are happy to track the calories that they expend, even though you now know that they could be wildly incorrect. But they're not tracking the calories that they consume, because you can't out-train a poor diet. And even if I don't really want to track my calories, then you don't need to do it forever. But I'd always suggest, well, just track your calories for 2 weeks so you can see where you are now. Don't change anything you're doing, just track your calories, understand where you're eating these extra levels of energy, because a calorie is just a unit of energy. It doesn't mean all calories are equal, but for the purpose of getting started and understanding calorie trackers and understanding smartwatches, track your calories, understand where you are, and you'll know more than probably 80% of the population, because a lot of people don't do it. And if you want to know how somebody can eat 7,000 calories and still remain in great shape, then watch this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.